What's happening, everybody? It is Brendan. The channel is Dad Planet, and you are watching the One Man Show. So it's the day after the holiday, and you and I are going to go to the thrift stores in hopes of finding anything to resell on eBay, buy it low, sell it high. I'm not 100% convinced that the stores are going to have anything because, especially if we're talking about Goodwill, they like to run 99-cent sales in my area during the holiday weekend, and so the places get absolutely slaughtered. So we're going in the day after. Hopefully they've got enough staff and they've got enough items that have been donated the last 24 to 48 hours. We can find anything to resell. You really never know. So you and I are gonna go shopping. After that, we're gonna discuss a comment that I got in one of my videos regarding pricing that I think will help a lot of you get over the hump. I'm gonna tell you how I think along the lines of pricing when it comes to what this young lady had mentioned in the comment. And from there, we're gonna talk about a couple of cool video game items that I found recently that will end up going to you. So stay tuned for that. It's been quite a while since I've seen one of these on the shelves. So it was sort of refreshing because I'm in a store that I don't normally go to. They're always so overpriced. But if you're not familiar with this machine, it's Margaritaville, a frozen concoction maker. I'm going to lift this up with one hand while I film and try not to die. It's cracked on the top. I don't know if you can see it clearly, but it's got a little crack on the top there, which is okay because if you look at the price they're asking for it, 13 bucks. Even if the thing doesn't work properly, I can part that part out right there, which is like the ice catcher, the bottom portion of that top lid that probably is not cracked, and the pitcher is like $50 to $55, even has a little shot glass in there. And there's some other things I could part out with that machine, but for $13 I can still get $80 to $90 in part out value if I'm lucky enough. So I'm gonna grab that. I don't even really need to test it, and I could probably plug the thing in and fire it up, but I think I can sell off the parts quicker actually than selling the full machine. Not just because we're late in the season, but because the parts just sell quicker just based on the volume that I'm seeing. So moved over to the plush in this store. I love finding some of the cartoons that my youngest kids used to watch. Backyardigans, we used to watch this. This is Pablo. It's a Sing and Spin from Fisher Price. And I did not test this in store, but he sings the Backyardigans theme song and kind of moves and rolls around. But I got it home, tested it, it worked perfect, and I'm like fidgeting with it here in store. I was squeezing the tummy, the stomach, to see if that did anything. You have to squeeze it by the hand, and that's what kind of gets him going. But his sound was phenomenal. He worked perfect. And I'm going to list that for $40. That's definitely a bolo. Backyardigan stuff, not very easy to find out in the wild. So please keep your eye out for that. You'll see another Nickelodeon show here towards the end. We'll talk about that. Seems to do pretty well. I just sold a plush from the show that I'm going to talk about here towards the end a couple of days ago. So love those old Nickelodeon shows. Moved over to another store. Picked this heavy piece up. So this is frosted glass. The maker is Lalique, and the style for this little dove vase is called Rosine. If you can see that there, it says Lalique, France. So it's authentic. Unfortunately, it has a couple flaws we'll take a look at here in a second. You can see it's chipped a little bit right there at the top. And then one of the things you can't see on film is one of the wings of the doves was chipped a little bit, but I checked the comps, and even though you could probably get $150 to $200 for this if it was flawless, I still saw some solds in the last 90 days for like $70, $80. So I'm going to list mine for $75. I got a kick out of this. Savers can't sell it for $7. Maybe Goodwill can sell it for $17. What do you guys think? This is so silly. What does the cat think? Yeah. Anyway, the rest of the stuff in my cart, no brainer right here. General Foam Plastics Blow Mold. It goes about 21 inches. It is vintage, very well made. It doesn't have the light, but I have one here at home. So those are going for around $40 right now, and they should sell relatively quickly. And then I got some Culver glass that you see right here. This is made in the USA, 22 karat gold, I think, on the front here. Even though there's a little bit of wear, and we're a little bit far out from Christmas, I'm going to grab these because they're only $1 each, and I'm going to list the pair for $20. They will eventually sell. That cobalt glass is popular. Some of the celestial sun, moon designs sell really well, and I think right now, as I can see it, I'm the only one that has some of the ones with the Christmas design on them, so I'm going to grab that. This could be a bolo here if it wasn't damaged. These little wicker basket breakfast trays, $30 for that if you can find it in good condition, especially the one there that's got like the little cup holder. So keep your eye out for that. There's a lot of them listed, but I think if you price it aggressively, you probably get $30 for it. Next item here, item I'm not familiar with. It is a pet safe radio fence, and they want $6 for this, I believe. Now, it's supposed to have a remote, but it does have the plug, and I was just checking the comps. There's some in the like $70 to $100 range, but I think the most realistic price for this one is probably $50 if it doesn't have the remote. I don't know if you necessarily need that, because I've seen some solds without it in the like $40 to $50 range. That's probably where that is going to land. So that was a good pickup here. And just a couple of other random things here. DC Talk, welcome to the Freak Show. I think they are a Christian rock group, Christian music group. That CD is a good seller at probably $10 to $15. And then there's the Wonder Pets right here. That book has all of the stickers in it still, which is pretty cool. So it was almost in like brand new condition. And that's a fast seller too, $15 for that. So, chipping away at it, we're not doing too bad. We got $34 spent, and I think $235 listed value. Linda recently made a comment. We're going to go through it because I think a lot of people might think along these lines when it comes to pricing. And so we're going to kind of talk this out together here. She's saying that in general terms, she's afraid to list on the higher end of comps because she is afraid that the item won't sell. So the crowd that I think maybe you are thinking about in your head when it comes to raising your prices is a crowd that might not be able to afford the item in question. And if you raise the prices, you'd be right. That crowd can't afford it. But here's what I would say to you in this instance. Let's use a pair of Brooks shoes as an example. There's a pair that sells in the $30 range pre-owned, but you also see sales in the $50 range pre-owned. So if you sell that shoe for $30, even though it's clear that you can get $50 for it pre-owned based on sales, only one of 3 people wins in that scenario, right? Because there's the buyer who wins because they got the shoe for $30, but then there's the seller who loses out, and that's you because you undersold the shoe by $20. And then there's eBay who doesn't get the full amount of revenue that they otherwise could have. When the CFO of eBay sits with the board and they go over quarterly numbers or yearly numbers, and that CFO says to them, well, we are doing $1 billion less than we did last year, but we did 33% more transactions. We had higher volume. That board is going to look at that guy like his head is missing, right? No one cares about the idea of maybe making it up in volume, okay, theoretically, if you price that way, in the interest of losing out on all that revenue, right? So only one person wins, whereas if you sell it for $50, eBay gets the most money, you got the $20 that you deserved, and the buyer still gets the item for $50. They were happy to pay it, so everybody wins in that scenario, right? Lamborghini doesn't owe me any favors and doesn't owe me an apology for pricing their cars at $200,000, nor are they going to reduce their price to $40,000 so that I can now afford it. They don't owe me that, and I don't care that they price the way they do. So I don't think you really even have to think about that crowd when it comes to selling an item for a higher dollar amount. So make it a little bit easier on yourself. If we're talking about the brand Time and True, you probably can't list that item for $50. Sure, that crowd's not going to afford it. No one's going to want to afford it. But if it's an item that can very clearly get you $50 and you're selling it for $30, you're hurting everybody essentially in the long run. So you don't have to really think that hard about listing it higher. You're just selling it to maybe a different crowd, or you're getting the price that you should be getting because there are plenty of people that are happy to spend $50 for that pre-owned shoe when the MSRP was $175. That's why pricing on the higher end and not worrying about like trying to make it up in volume makes way more sense to me. So hopefully that helps you get over the hump a little bit price-wise. Just charge these guys here. We got Nintendo. I think these are DS lights. They are both red. Got one of them going here with the warning sign. That looks good. Before you begin, okay, we'll touch the screen here. I don't know what it's asking me to do here, but it looks like these both work. I think they're both red. Yeah. And there's a game in each one of them. So I have 6 games here plus a game here and a game here. I'm gonna split these up and I'm gonna put them in one of the wholesale lots for you kind folks here. USG001 on both of them. I think they're both red. And I think these are probably both $60, like if you sold them with the adapter, the unit. I think they both have the stylus, yes. And then 4 games, I think you could get $60 if you were selling these on your own. This one has a Lego game in it. I think this one might have been a Transformers game, but 4 games each. One of them will have a case, one of them will not, but both of those are going to go into separate wholesale lots. boloplanet.com to check those out if you want them, and they will be available as of the time of this recording. In my next video, we're going to the Goodwill bins, and I found another Holy Grail t-shirt, only I am not keeping this one or listing it in my eBay store this time. It's gonna go to one of you folks. Brendan here, Dad Planet, the One Man Show. Hit that like button if you liked what you saw or you learned something today, and then always consider becoming a member of the Dad Planet family by subscribing and hitting the bell notification icon so that you know every single time I upload a video to YouTube. That's it. That's all I've got for you. If you need wholesale boxes, boloplanet.com. I am out of here. We'll see you in the next one.